Hello, this is webhostingrewind.com with another video helping you pick the best web hosting company for your need. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things web hosting related. Also, click the links in the description to learn more about each web hosting company that is discussed on this channel. These links are affiliate links and I will receive a small commission if you purchase through the links below. Also, if you purchase using the links below, you will receive exclusive bonuses not offered anywhere else. The commissions go to supporting the channel to continue to provide relevant and unbiased information. In this video, I am going to review the virtual private server or VPS offered through Bluehost. So I'm going to take a look at the price. I'm going to actually do a little bit of comparisons, do a little bit of definitions, talk about performance, features, support, what their current and former customers are saying, and then provide a conclusion. Before we dive into the Bluehost VPS review, let's talk a little bit about some definitions. Some key terms that you'll hear throughout the duration of this video are CPU cores, RAM, SSD storage, and bandwidth. So let's quickly talk about those four things. Now, CPU cores basically means the ability to handle multiple processes at one time. The more CPU cores you have, the better. And RAM stands for random access memory. It basically gives you the ability to complete tasks faster. The more RAM you have, the faster you can complete tasks. And SSD storage, there are two types of storage. There is SSD for solid state drive or HDD, which is the old school, old generation. You want to have SSD storage because it's faster, lighter, and more durable. And finally, bandwidth is data sent and received from your server. So now that we've got those four definitions out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the pricing structure for Bluehost. Now, Bluehost has three types of web hosting. They have shared, VPS, and dedicated. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the VPS or virtual private server. Basically, with a VPS plan or package, you are buying an entire server space. All of your websites, you can have multiple websites, they're all stored on this one server and you're not sharing it with other people. With a shared hosting plan, your website or websites can be shared with multiple people, means you're sharing data, you're sharing bandwidth, you're sharing RAM, CPU cores. With a VPS, all of it is for you. You get a chunk of storage, a chunk of CPU cores, and it's all for you to use. So a VPS is great if you have a website that gets a lot of traffic. If you are, let's say, a software developer and you like to test, it's great for hosting content. It's also great for if you have a ton of page views per month, or even if you're running multiple websites. So that is what VPS is. And we've talked a little bit about the definitions. Let's go ahead and talk about price. Now, the cheapest or least expensive VPS plan for Bluehost is $19.95 per month under a promotion. Obviously, prices are subject to change, but that $19.95 per month includes 2 cores, 30 gigabytes of SSD storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of bandwidth, 1 IP address, so you'll get 1 dedicated IP address. And then if you just wanted to compare, GoDaddy has a similar package for $19.99, and that includes 2 CPU cores, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and 100 gigabytes of SSD storage. Head to head on the surface, Bluehost does not have the best package for the introductory price. Continuing on, if we take a look at the most expensive VPS package offered by Bluehost, it is $59.99 per month, and that includes 4 cores, 120 gigabytes of SSD storage, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 3 terabytes of bandwidth, 2 IP or 2 dedicated IP addresses. For comparison, GoDaddy has a similar plan, even though it's about $10 more a month. It includes 8 CPU cores, 10 gigabytes of RAM, and 400 gigabytes of SSD storage. So if you're just looking at price and you're not taking anything else into consideration, Bluehost actually lags a little bit behind GoDaddy when you're looking at price and you're just looking at some of those key factors that we defined earlier. Now that we have taken a look at price, let's go ahead and look at performance. Now, Bluehost has an uptime of 99.94%, which is average. The minimum requirement for web hosting is 99.9. In most cases, most web hosting companies are going to have 99.999, if not more. So Performance is just average. It's not top, it's not bottom. And according to the speed test ratings that I've seen and I've conducted myself, it has an average load time of 2.89 seconds, which is pretty good. The longer it takes for a web page to load, the higher the probability that your customer is going to click off of your website and you could lose money. So it's very important that your website or your web page loads as fast as possible so that you can potentially not lose any money. All right, so now that we have taken a quick look at the performance, let's look at some of those features that are included in the VPS plans. So Bluehost offers free domain for the first year, free SSL, a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 support, what they're calling extreme performance, root access, so you can actually have root access and make changes at the root level, not offered with all web hosting providers, instant provisioning, enhanced control panel, guaranteed resources, dynamic resources, and then you can actually pay for some additional services on top of that, including multi-server management. If you need additional server space, you can get that as well. You can actually log in via SSH, which is a secured shell, or even log files. Again, you can have fine-grained access. Basically what that means is you can assign permissions to different users. Database management, I believe they use the SQL or SQL database. File management, you can add storage on the fly, domain privacy and protection, as well as site lock. So those are the overall features that are offered with each of their VPS plan. Some of those will be additional costs depending on the level of service that you purchase. All right, so let's talk a little bit about support. Now, personally, I have not had very good experience with Bluehost support. It seems that all of their responses are canned responses, and it's very difficult to find actual assistance. If I'm being perfectly honest and transparent, you can contact support with the exact same question 3 or 4 times and have 3, 4, or even 5 different answers. Now, the reason why you can have 5 different answers is you can catch them in a falsehood and they will quickly change their answer. So one of my biggest frustrations, one of my biggest concerns when it comes to Bluehost is their support. While it is open 24/7 and you probably get a tier 2 support if you're going with a VPS, it lags behind some of the other providers that I've used, like NameHero, for example. NameHero has much better support. I'll do a VPS video on them later. One of my biggest gripes with Bluehost is their support. So here's a quick look at what some of their current and former users are saying about Bluehost. All right, so to conclude, in my opinion, Bluehost is an average VPS company. It does not have the best prices when compared to GoDaddy. It does not have the most features. Some of the features that you may need, depending on what you're going to use it for, you may actually have to pay additional or upgrade to a higher package. While the higher level of VPS service is less expensive than, let's say, GoDaddy, it does include fewer features. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not thrilled with the support. So if I take all of that into consideration, if I'm rating the VPS from personal experience, I'm probably going to rate it about a 3.25 out of 5. It is a well-known brand. It has a pretty good VPS package, but it is not Excel really at anything. It is a very average, very run-of-the-mill. It does get credit for being well-known. It does get credit for being available 24/7, and it does get some credit for having some of the higher-end features that I mentioned a little bit earlier. Dynamic resources, multi-server management, enabled the ability to get in via SSH and look at log files. Those are all pluses. In addition, you can add storage, but the support really holds it back. the cost versus the features that are included, as well as the support, really holds Bluehost VPS from really excelling. To learn more about this web hosting company or any other web hosting company discussed on this channel, be sure to check out the links in the description. Once again, this is Web Hosting Rewind, helping you pick the best web hosting company for your needs. Also, if you purchase using the links below, you will receive exclusive bonuses not offered anywhere else. The commissions go to supporting the channel to continue to provide relevant and unbiased information. Thank you and have a great night.